It could be argued that many art galleries are relevant educators. They are educators because they help students see a new perspective of the world they live in. It should be noted that despite this fact, the degree and effectiveness to which these art galleries provide a basis for learning varies greatly from one art gallery to another. The Albright Knox Art Gallery is an old and very well-established art gallery featuring exhibits of contemporary and modern arts collected from all around the world. In this rapidly globalizing world, it would behoove future and current job seekers to be more knowledgeable about the various aspects of the world, and not just the United States. Therefore, the Albright Knox is arguably the most suitable educator, as it not only provides excellent pieces done by prominent artists, but it also features a plethora of international themes and elements. A great example of international exhibits shown at the Albright Knox is the Millie Chen exhibit. Here is an artist that was born in Taiwan, who is portraying the atrocities committed by mankind throughout history. It shows the mistakes that should not be repeated again. In a sense, this is similar to a history book, just more interesting. The disturbing images seen not only catches the attention of the viewers, it forces them to think very critically about what they are seeing. One could always read about the horrible things that happened in history. However, it does not have the same effect as seeing it. Images evoke a far more powerful emotional response than words. This is because images make the viewer feel less like a spectator looking at the problem from afar. Excerpt from Bantai Shiv, April 20th, 2014. Final paper. Artwork from the Beyond Landscape exhibit forces individuals to use critical thinking by looking at the painting and making connections to history. The painting Der Morgenthau Plan, one of the centerpieces of Beyond Landscape exhibit, is a prime example of this, showcasing the existence of central tension between the depiction of a beautiful field of flowers and the deadly plan the painting references. Kiefer drew his inspiration from the Morgenthau Plan, created in 1944 by United States Secretary of the Treasury, Henry Morgenthau. This is historically important because the plan advocated harsh measures to ensure that Germany would never be able to go to war another time. According to the plan, Germany was to be partitioned into two states, its industry internationalized or annexed by neighboring countries, and its heavy industry dismantled. This painting is also socially important because by using the Marshall Plan instead of the Morgenthau Plan, the United States was able to forgive the German people and rebuild. Forgiveness is the hardest thing possible. By synthesizing what we know about the Morgenthau Plan and the Marshall Plan, individuals are able to apply what they know about the real world just after World War II and draw the conclusion that the United States forgave Germany. This existential analysis is the true essence of an aesthetic experience. Excerpt from Dylan Charles, April 4th, 2014, final paper. Critical thinking is central to both museums' mission statements. But what does this really mean? Well, two examples of artwork that foster critical thinking are Pollock's Number 5 and Sherritt's Ice Species. Pollock's Number 5 at first glimpse is a mess of color and pattern. However, upon careful examination, there is more depth behind this painting, beyond the plethora of splatters and blotches of paint. Jackson Pollock was influenced by the human mind. He explains his idea of an automatic painting, referring to the abstract lining to this specific piece of work as a means of expression of the human subconscious. As a result of critical thinking, what was discovered in Pollock's Number 5 painting was a mathematical concept known as Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci numbers are a sequence of numbers named after Leonardo of Pisa, known as Fibonacci. The first number of the sequence is 0, the second number is 1, and each subsequent number is equal to the sum of the previous two numbers of the sequence itself. Fibonacci sequence is infinite and never-ending. For example, 0 plus 0 equals 0, 0 plus 1 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, and so on. What stems from this particular sequence is known as a Fibonacci spiral. Number 5 and Fibonacci sequence interrelate and exemplifies critical thinking because initially at first glance, number 5 is just a simple, yet eye-popping oil painting. Looking beyond the various and vibrant colors, there is an intricate analytical design. One can attempt to make connections to the Fibonacci spiral in various sections of the painting, applying the key components of the Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence is used in several mathematical concepts in order to solve numeric equations. Comparing Pollock's work to Sherritt's at first sight would seem very different. Sherritt's is a projection, not an oil painting, like Pollock's. However, this is supported by various articles about Sherritt, where it discusses how he uses projectors in many of his artworks, such as I Specie, to create a thought or a series of thoughts. I Specie consists of a 35mm 3-slide projection with 3 sound tracks and infinite duration. Specifically, Sherritt explains what motivated this creation. During the winter months, I noticed incredible light streaks across the sea and the wonderful cloud structures above. I started taking slides from different vantage points in my nearly vertical village, always keeping the horizon line exactly in the middle of the frame. In quick succession, these random patterns appear to have a sequential order, that is, movements seem to occur. This is our brain putting together data in logical patterns. Sherritt used a muse that most people would take for granted, seasons and the sky's horizon, applying it to the human thought process, emphasizing the never-ending sequence of his photographs, and comparing those photographs to the likewise sequence-forming patterns of our brain. He goes on to say that his photographs are completely out of progression, but with the way our brains are wired to function, we put the out-of-array photographs into our personal and cognitive sequence without any realization. An added characteristic of this piece includes the fact that the series of photographs are infinitely different to whoever views it. The strings of projections could go on for 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years, depending on the person. Sherritt's I Species piece is a clear example of applied critical thinking. Excerpt from Luigi Aduasi, April 26, 2014, final paper.